I am so excited that you're watching this right now. I've been in the mortgage industry for over 10 years, and I begin every new client relationship with education around budgeting, with education around the home buying process, and education around the roles and responsibilities of home ownership. It's not taught in the mortgage industry. It's not taught in the real estate industry. And it's something that I believe is crucial to your overall financial well-being. I teach this information to kids at the local high school, to every single first-time home buyer, and students that I'm currently teaching at the University of Washington. And regardless of your age, I promise you, this information will be valuable. I can't wait to share it with you. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, welcome. We're going to talk about buying a home or renting and which one is best for you. My name is Dan Keller. I am a branch manager and mortgage advisor at Cross Country Mortgage. My MLO number is 115349. There's this age-old argument around buying a home versus renting a home, and that renting's better than buying and buying's better than renting. And much like anything nowadays, you can find a strong argument, pro or con, any topic. And that's not my agenda today. My agenda today is to do what I do with every single client and give really strong advice that supports the decision-making process, that helps you make a clear, strong financial decision. And so I'm going to talk about both sides today, but I'm also going to support purchasing a home. I'm also going to support the home buying decision with data and some numbers at the end that I believe will be very, very helpful. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with that age-old argument. So let's pick a side. We're going to start with some strong arguments in favor of buying. The first is when your home appreciates greater than what you've paid in taxes and interest and maintenance costs, guess what? You've earned a return, and that's a profit. So that's a big selling point, a big argument in favor of buying. Number two, the IRS is still very real estate friendly. So you get property tax and mortgage interest refunds every single year for owning a home, and that helps reduce the cost of home ownership. Number three, when you pay off the house is yours. The property is yours to do whatever you'd like to do with. And then number four, you can rent out the house for a profit. We see that happening a lot with a lot of our clients turning into landlords as they age and they outgrow houses. They keep them, rent them out, and go and buy other houses. And that's a way to create additional wealth through real estate. All right, so let's jump on the other side. Equally strong arguments in favor of renting. Yes, but you own your home, but you pay a lot in interest and property taxes. That's true. That's true. Number two, renting isn't throwing your money away. You hear a lot of people say, you're just throwing your money away when you rent. Well, renting isn't necessarily throwing your money away. It's a place to live, and if it gets you downtown or avoids you having to buy a car, and it's very inexpensive, and you're able to save a bunch of money, and you like the structure, you like the property, then hey, it may be better to rent versus buying something. Number three, you don't have to pay for repairs or maintenance. That is true, but really you need to understand this. Landlords' interpretation of a property in good condition might differ from yours, so be careful there. I caution you. A lot of people that come in and sit down and meet with me, they complain about landlords not keeping the property up to their expectations, all right? So there may be a little difference in expectations between landlords and tenants. Number four, buying has operating costs, down payment, interest, taxes, and maintenance. That is true. This money could be used to invest in the stock market. We're going to talk about that in a minute, and that's very true. So I want to start off with the three factors to consider if you're thinking about buying. Number one, I found this great rent versus buy calculator at nerdwallet.com. The URL is right above this video. And what I found here is I've typed in a bunch of different reports. What I found is that the break-even point for home ownership is typically between 4 and 5 or 6 years. I ran this scenario, $600,000 purchase with 5% down, and it came out to a break-even point of 5 years. So it's really important as you're considering buying a home to understand, hey, how long do I see myself in this home? You hear me, I ask my clients this all the time, and a lot of times they'll ask, like, why? What does that matter? Well, because of what we're going to talk about in today's report, we don't want you to get into a home and then have to sell in 3 years and then actually lose money on that. So that's something to consider. Number two, the cost of housing in your area is important. There are higher cost areas which makes buying expensive, and it can also make renting expensive. So it's important to consider that. Part of that also includes the mortgage industry and what mortgage rates are doing. So right now, interest rates are at historic lows. It's making home affordability super, super attractive. So it's encouraging to people that are renting to go out and buy. And so that's something to pay very close attention to. Number 3, the opportunity costs of your taxes and insurance. So we go back to those opportunity costs of the taxes that you pay and the interest that you pay and the maintenance that you pay. If you could invest that in the stock market, could you get a greater return than the S&P, which is about 7% by investing? I don't know. You need to talk to a financial planner around that. I can tell you that the S&P 500 over the last 30 years has generated a return of about 7%, real estate about 7.5%. Now in Seattle, it might be a little bit more. So those are things to consider there. And that's factor number 3. Now this is what I really like to talk about, because I get to talk about the 4th factor that no one seems to be talking about in real estate and mortgage, and I do. But let's start with the first one, property taxes. The 4 main costs of home ownership. Number 1, property taxes. Yes, they are deductible, and yes, most of the time they're included in your total monthly mortgage payment. We'll talk about that in a minute. Number 2, homeowners insurance. Again, included in your total monthly payment, but not tax deductible. Number 3, homeowners association dues. Now, if you're buying a condo and there's an HOA dues of $500 or $600 a month, be cautious of that. That money is not tax deductible, and you want to know where that money is going toward, and you want to look at that as operating costs. Number 4, maintenance. I tell all of my clients, and this is so important, listen up. I tell all my clients, budget 1% of your home's value every year toward maintenance costs. So you should put away 1%. If your house is worth $500,000, you should put away $5,000 or budget $5,000 a year to upkeep, to maintain that home. That's smart. There's a thing called preventive maintenance. If you have a car and you take really good care of the car lasts forever and you get a greater resale value when you go to sell that car down the road. The same is true with your house. So I'm not going to say beware. Right here, I'm saying be aware of the 5 common repairs you'll make in your first 5 years. I experienced this as a homeowner myself, and I see this a lot with my clients. Number 1, leaky faucets and runny toilets. It's going to happen. Number 2, chippy paint or having to repaint your house either inside or outside. Number 3, appliances. Appliances go out. They get used a lot. They go out. I think the shelf life for appliances is about 5 to 7 years, so just be cautious of that. Number 4, we live in the Northwest. There are rodents and pest activity, so invest in rodent and pest maintenance. And number 5, same thing. We live in the Northwest, and there's a lot of moisture here, so there's water-related damages that can happen. Again, preventive maintenance. Make sure you're taking good care of your roof and your gutters and your crawl space, and you're keeping an eye on drainage issues. So how to avoid these costly repairs? This is probably the most valuable slide in this whole presentation. Number 1, make sure you're working with an experienced real estate agent. So many times I've seen clients come in working with their friend's sister who just got a real estate license, or their brother's uncle who sells real estate part-time, and they just don't get the treatment and the advice and the service that they deserve. Make sure you're working with an experienced real estate professional. The best real estate agents out there work with the best home inspectors. So that's number 2. Make sure you're working with a great home inspector that gives you a detailed report. Number 3, work with a mortgage professional like myself that will buy you. I give you a House Happy membership. This is a maintenance, a how to take care of your home forever guide. It's innovative. You download the app. They send you push notifications on what you need to do every single month, to take care of your home. They come out right after you close on your home, and they do a 300-point inspection on your home. It's just an incredible feature. It's my gift to you. It's a closing gift that I give all my clients, but make sure you are working with someone that has your back and uses a House Happy membership. And then, much like you'll see with the House Happy membership, number 4, it is going to contribute to preventive care and maintenance. It's going to show you how to take really good care of your property. All right, so this is key. This is where I get to geek out because I'm a numbers guy, I'm a mortgage guy, and I teach this to every single one of my clients. You can go to budgetwithdan.com to learn more about this, but it is so important. I'm 44 years old and I complete a personal family budget every single month. And I encourage you to do it too. You need to know how much money you're bringing in, how much you're saving, and how much you're spending every single month. If you don't, down to the dollar, I'm telling you, you're missing out. And if you did this every single month over the life of your mortgage or your financial life, you will be in a better position 20, 30 years down the road. The idea is to make sure that you're debt free. The idea is that you have 3 months of your survival number put away. That's your total cost to live every single month, put away in a rainy day account. The idea is that you're maxing out your 401k, and then the idea is that you're investing an additional 10 to 20%, and you do that over 10, 20, 30 years, and you're going to retire rich. And I show you the plan at budgetwithdan.com. Essentially, in a nutshell, I've talked to a lot of wealthy older men and women, people in their 60s and their 70s, and I can tell you every single one of them have aced the 4 factors of wealth accumulation. Number 1, they have owned real estate or multiple properties. Number 2, they've always had money set aside for a rainy day. Number 3, they always took advantage of tax-friendly investment accounts like a 401k, especially if your employer matches. And then number 4, they've invested in the stock market. Pick 5 stocks. You can go to etrade.com. You can nearly do this for free. Pick 5 stocks and throw money at those 5 stocks every single month. I'm doing this now with my kids and they absolutely love it. If you want more information on that, let me know. So let's dive into the numbers. Rent versus own. This is for a client that I just met with the other day. They're wanting to buy north of Seattle. Their budget is right around $625,000. They're paying $2,300 a month right now in rent. And so what you're going to find in this report, that red outline, let's look up to the top, right above this video. The red outline, the net monthly payment, that is not their total monthly payment. So go up 2 line items above that to total payment. You're going to see column number 1, $2,300 a month in rent. Column number 2 is option 1, their total monthly payment that includes property taxes, homeowner's insurance, private mortgage insurance, all comes to $2,923 a month. Now, go back down to that net monthly payment. When you factor out the tax incentives for mortgage interest deductions, when you factor out the tax incentives for property tax deductions, the true comparison to renting is $2,064. So it actually behooves these clients to purchase a home at $550,000 versus renting. The apples to apples comparison is a $2,000 mortgage investment every single month versus a $2,300 a month rent. All right, so something I want to take a look at now is up above this video over to my right, you're going to see rent versus principal paid in 60 months. Okay, so that's the 5-year break-even plan. Remember I talked about 5 years earlier? So I ran the numbers. Under this scenario, paying $2,300 a month or a $2,900 a month mortgage over 5 years. And in this particular case, the client came out about $31,000 on top, or from a net cost standpoint, it saved $30,000 by owning, versus renting. And that did not incorporate any appreciation. Same thing, if you go down below that, it just gets crazy out of control if you look at the 15-year analysis. So for this particular client, it looked like it was better to own, to buy a home, than it was to rent. Okay, so this is what I also shared with this client as well. Let's go a little bit deeper. Let's look at the numbers and talk about the 3 financial benefits of owning a home. The 3 big benefits are tax write-offs, forced savings, and appreciation. So the tax write-offs for that particular scenario that we just talked about, $522,000 loan amount, paid $16,980 in interest over the year. They paid almost $5,500 in property taxes over the year. Their tax rate was at 30%. So their monthly savings in regards to their tax deductions was about $868 a month. You times that by 12, that's what they got back from the IRS. Now, if you go down to forced savings was the principal amount. So every single month when you make your total monthly payment, part of that payment goes to paying down your mortgage. That's your principal payment. So this particular case, $858.85 went to principal for the first year. And then number 3, I used 4% appreciation. We're currently appreciating at almost 8%. So I wanted to use a real conservative number. A 4% appreciation, a $550,000 purchase, that's $22,000 a year. That's $1,833 a month. And so if you add all of those up, let's go up above this video now, you add that up, it's a $3,500 a month savings for buying a home versus renting. The question is always right now, Dan, are we heading toward a bubble? What happens if the housing market crashes? So I put together this report. Let's say you were to buy a home in the worst housing market ever, 2008, right before the market crashed. If you held onto the house for 5 years, look at this scenario right here. $500,000 purchase, $17,500 down, plus your closing costs. So you had a $26,000 $500 initial investment. Appreciation rate 4% over that 5-year period. All right. So that was a $500,000 purchase price, appreciates at 4%. That went up $100,000. The home went up $100,000 over 5 years. Again, this is in a down economy. But most down economies don't last for 5 years straight. You have to remember that. So the house went from being worth $500,000 to $600,000 over a 5-year period. They paid down their mortgage down all the way down to $450,000 just by making their mortgage payment. So now they had $150,000 in equity. Over a 5-year period, they got over $36,000 in IRS refunds. Go up above this video now and look at the benefits and savings. This is crazy. If you plug those numbers into an ROI calculator, they got a 277% return on their initial down payment investment over 5 years. They added over $186,000 to their total net worth. So, can you buy a home in a bad market and have it still make sense? This report shows that. So let's talk. In closing, in summary, if you have a 5-year plan, you can't really go wrong. Number 2, treat your 401k like a 30-year fixed rate hold. If you do that, if you invest in your 401k, treat your mortgage like a 401k, and you hold on to real estate, you can't go wrong. Number 3, if you need flexibility, if you don't know where you're going to be next year, if you need flexibility in regards to financial flexibility, then maybe rent. If housing prices are too expensive, maybe rent. Number 5, make a budget, live by it. And then number 6, I firmly believe, this is what I do for a living, that with the right education and the right approach, that homeownership is still a big part of the American dream. If you have any questions on any of this information, I look forward to being a resource. I'm so happy that you watched this. I can't wait to be your mortgage guy, and I look forward to connecting with you real soon, okay? If you found this valuable, feel free, give it a share. Share it with someone that it might help, okay? Bye for now.